before.
I guess we're just going into it here. The reason is because we can't waste time with V5. We don't know what's happening. Because CLX and Mole, when they were playing together, they swapped lanes a bunch. Look towards the top side, Alias and Xiaohan, that's where they'll stay with the Wukong jungle. But for now, you worry about the bottom side. Going into Jackie Love here, trying to take him by surprise. And Jackie Love's debut onto Summoner's Rift. That's the important part here for Top Esports. As we go into game number 1, how does he return to form? The 2018 World Champion AD Carry. And his journey onto Top Esports.
And I was just going to say, I still want to see where they decide to commit these lanes, because just because CLX is listed as a support doesn't mean he's going to bring that Jace down towards the bot lane. We talked about how we've already seen Mole play this Nico in the bot lane this split.
Yeah. What does he have? Omnistone? No, he's got Glacial Augment this time around.
Yep, Glacial Augment is the standard rune for Nico. Of course, it's not what he picked up last time around, but...
It was the Callista, then Nico combo where he threw him in, but that didn't work out. For V5, look, this game is going to be revolving around what we actually see in the bottom lane. But for Top Esports, we didn't get a chance to talk about it much, but for 369 on this Malphite, it does feel like there's a bit more onus on Knight and Jackie Love here in this game.
It does. I do expect Top Esports to play, again, surprisingly, from mid-jungle into bot, which hasn't been their strong suit this season. I'm more interested to see what Victory 5 are going to do with this Wukong jungle. It has been played a bit in solo queue, but haven't seen it yet in the LPL. I'm not sure if any competitive league has picked it up, but Wukong is not being played, so definitely hasn't. It doesn't seem like it would have too much gank pressure, but I feel like you would be really strong in these early game skirmishes for things like the Scuttle Crab.
Here's Mole in the bottom lane just to confirm as well. So Mole moving back down with Y4, and Y4 normally the AD carry going to be supporting this game, of course.
And typically you would see Bard having pressure on something like a Braum, but Aphelios just having so much more range and early damage, especially range against this Nico.
Sure.
Feels like it'll be really hard unless he could land, you know, an E through minions and get that Q poke onto him.
Now, Lyric, with an early game like this, with the way we've come into this really with a hard focus onto Jackie Love, I want to talk about Top Esports and how he's going to move into this roster. We talked about the strength of schedule going forward, that we have FPX and E-Stars in the works here for this team, noting that FPX is the very last game of the regular season for Top Esports and FPX to go up against each other. Now, how are they going to survive in this bottom lane? We're going to pause here because the flash comes in onto Mole. Jackie Love flashed on, double flash here. Xiaohan on him, and oh no! First blood for the new AD carry. Yu Yanjia has to walk away.
Yeah, really good to see coming out from Victory 5 when you do draft a mage in the bot lane. It is typically more of a kill lane. You wouldn't think of Nico and Bard. Ooh, though.
Yeah, Karsa coming up here, waiting for the flash, the face breaker, but he follows up. Karsa really wants to kill, but with the Haymaker shield, I don't think you find that one.
I also want to say we can see that 369 and Karsa weren't on the same page, that 369 started clicking back towards his minions when Karsa decided to flash in.
Well, that's not a good start for Top Esports, and probably not what you'd expect. V5 with a small gold lead after first blood, and Xiaohan goes for the invade immediately afterwards as well.
Just makes sense. Karsa showed on top side. You got the kill down in the bot lane. You know you can safely do that, but as I was saying before, Nico and Bard, not typically a kill lane you would really think of. Still, though, Top Esports having priority early in that lane. Seems like Victory 5 allowed them to push in, and just Xiaohan naturally pathing towards the bot side with starting his red buff. Does find a very easy window into ganking bot. And Victory 5 with an early game lead, which actually isn't too surprising of a position.
Happens a lot.
I was going to say, yeah, right? We see them get ahead early quite often. It just, once it comes to especially, I'd say, the 5 to 8 minute mark, we see dragons, we see rift heralds, enemy teams start moving around the map. They're kind of left like, okay, what do we do?
And they do like coming bot. Like, we've seen them dive bot multiple times, I think, on cue as well. This one was a little bit earlier than expected, but the bot lane dives through turret don't always go well.
The two main players on this team are Y4 and Mole. So when you put them in the same lane together, maybe just expected that everything's going to go towards that bot side.
They become the boys, right? And then everyone else is just the backup. Kind of like the band we talk about with OMG. Except this time in the same lane, as you mentioned. You know, you got the Nico, you got the Bard. You got a Nico who's picked up a Dark Seal as well after that assist. As Alia is starting to punch this lane pretty hard, but 369 has a lead here already. But a big wave building up.
Ooh, Yu Yanjia?
Well, Y4's trying to walk into the lane, but he's got the magical journey.
Yeah, but not coming out ahead in that trade at all.
But has the Caretaker's Shrine.
But
So we'll see.
let's set up something kind of very easy going forward.
Please.
Is that the longer this game goes, scaling definitely 100% in favor of Top Esports. They have an AD carry, they have a front line, they have a standard front-to-back teamfight comp. You have things like the Nico, the Jace. Once we start hitting those late game points, aren't going to hit as hard as they do in the early stages of the game.
That's why this Dragon could be pretty important here. For V5, they know it's being done, but they can't do anything about it. Good timing here from Casa, securing the first Ocean.
Yeah, and it just does look like that Top Esports do have a superior skirmishing comp in the early stages of the game. You really want to get...
Jackie Love again. Well, Lyric.
I want to see what Karsa does. Karsa can't do anything. This wave is pushing out. If he does want to be a bit patient, though, Victory 5 are going to be forced to walk forward or just give up some CS on the next wave.
You're going to get a Tangle Barb yet again here from Mol, though. Trading pretty good here from the V5 bottom lane. Karsa still sticking around. He's cancelled back a couple of times, but he doesn't have the flash. There's number 3.
And this is the wave we would
Karsa.
expect to see some action happen on.
You can't see the wall. Karsa. Karsa. Unburrow. There's a ward there. He's going in anyway. If this works, which it won't, with the 2-man Tangle Barb, a good Winter's Bite, I guess. Karsa
Hey.
with it.
I told you, though, this is the wave we would see action on. Isn't action we wanted because, like you said, he's sitting on a ward.
We got something, right?
Right? So,
This time he backs away, though.
Xiaohan, we definitely want to see him play more around mid and bot. He's hovering towards top center. Now, maybe just taking that top scuttle crab, but when you have Jace in the mid lane, this is a champion that really demands a lot of attention if you want him to snowball ahead and start taking these turret plates and rotating around the map. And we've already used the term kill lane for their bot lane, so we definitely want to see Xiaohan make a return to the bot side of the map.
He already picked up the first kill. He's got double longsword as well. And we've just seen him be farming and now out-farming Karsa due to that length of time spent towards the bottom lane. He's got a level advantage as well. He's also got the upgraded Smite for skirmishing. There's a red buff and a blue buff spawning for him too. So that will advance here in this game. And yeah, we talk about V5. We want to see them advance their lead. And we've asked that many games so far. Even only 300 gold in the lead at the start of this game.
Yep, and now Victory 5's bot lane going to recall. The Rift Herald will come up now. Not sure if you're V5, you want to look for that yet. I feel like those ultimates are really key on both Mol and Y4 if you want to come out ahead against Top Esports at this point. So just heading back down bot, getting more CS under your belt and just kind of playing out a standard game is what we want to see.
You can see the cameraman really focusing on that bottom lane. Jackie Love up about 10 CS so far.
And they're the ones who are heading up towards the top side and can look to threaten this Herald.
Karsa's also here. Knight has the reset in the mid wave, but they're going to have to clear out some visions. So V5 are going to know they're coming.
Yeah, and 369 going for that recall is going to be able to just TP back up and keep up the priority in his lane. Oh, actually going to head down bot. Actually works better that way, right? I just said he has TP, head down bot, answer whatever play that Victory 5 want to make, and if Victory 5 try to commit onto you in a fight for Rift Herald, you can just follow.
But the problem is that there is no Wukong there. Xiaohan hits level 6 first, and he's not in position to challenge this one away or make a response.
Nope, and this is what we talked about, right? This is when Victory 5 start to kind of, I don't use the word struggle. They just don't really do anything. They don't react well to when teams make plays.
Do you think it's fair to say V5 struggle to understand the game state?
Yes.
I know that's a much larger conversation, but a lot of the time, I was sitting there last night trying to understand what makes V5 a really different team. To put it lightly. Right now, we'll find out. Tempered Fate, Pop Blossom. No, that was not coordinated. 369 still has ulti onto the Bard, of course. That's easily done. He flashes away, and what more can you say than that was just bad?
That hurt my soul.
A 1-for-1, whatever, but that was just horrible.
I just can't.
Now Top Esports with the dive towards the top side. I mean, this is where you say take it away, Budget LS. Alia's going to get knocked up here. Moonlight Vigil. Alia's against the wall. Jackie Love with his first kill in the LPL Spring in 2020.
Well, okay, Top Esports win across the map. They get a 1-for-1 in the bot lane. They get Rift Herald. They get the top dive. They're going to get plates on top side.
And first turret blood. Yeah, I came into this one expecting,
you know, we've seen Victory 5 consistently fail at dives to split, but it's always been level 2 dives. We haven't gotten to a point like this and seen them botch something like that.
Like the ult dive. I mean, it's not hard. The Pop Blossom comes down, then maybe Y4 just goes for the turret.
Yeah, they did not coordinate that well at all.
No. Another thing I was actually talking to Chad about this before, was we were looking at, other issues, and I mentioned that coordination and communication is a really big thing.
It's weird, too, because, again, maybe you want to think, okay, he just tempered fates the very edge of the turret to just try and get that so they aren't going to take aggro, but he used it on the complete turret, and of course it's going to hit 369 as well, and I mean, you could even do that differently, right, and just tempered fate both and then save the Pop Blossom, but they really did that the worst way possible.
So much more to say, is there? I mean,
and I like V5. I'm a V5 fan, but nothing good to say there.
You and no one else, apparently. But the thing is, like, the reason I like V5 as well, and not just from, like, a playstyle wise, it's like the drafts that come out, the uniqueness that we get from this team.
Going into this fight, though, we really want to see them split up the members of Top Esports. They have a lot of ways to do that with the Showstopper, with the Tempered Fate, make it a chaotic skirmish and kind of burst someone down on the edge. Oh,
but Malphite ults on the back end immediately. They already get Mole. As Mole dies, as the Dragon gets secured by V5, they need to get the heck out of there. Top Esports are on the chase.
Yeah, not anything else to say about that one, but front-to-back team fights, Top Esports will win every time. That wasn't even a front-to-back team fight. They just blew Mole up. If V5 want to come out ahead in these fights, they either need to use one of their pressures. Like we talked about this Jace should have pressure in whatever lane he's put into at this point. Maybe not against the Malphite, actually. That will be very tough. Malphite does pretty well against Jace, especially at this point with his items. But it's about splitting up the members of Top Esports and then picking them off with your burst. You have a ton of burst on the side of V5.
But this game is already 2K in the lead of Top Esports. And my problem here now is we've seen Aphelios' solo out turrets and what happens when they get all this gold. Jackie Love in a fine position here in his first game back. And for Mole, looking for the chase with Y4 and Xiaohan, but just what are you expecting? Maybe not to die. Mole's going to have to flash away. Grabs him there. Now the Aphelios ult comes through. He flashes on top of Mole before the Pop Blossom. Has the time with Xiaohan as well. Nicely done. Just what we remember as V5 run into him. He's going to pick up a triple kill.
Jackie Love is back. That's all there's to say about that. I mean, Victory 5 trying to execute well. The thing about Bard is he opens up a lot of creative plays with his magical journey, but it doesn't matter. Jackie Love, as you pointed out, getting all this gold onto the Aphelios, already getting some items under his belt, played that very well. Just, I mean, how did you describe it the other day? You got Aphelios?
You get Aphelios, yeah.
Yeah. Felt like that was what happened.
Yeah. Well, 4-1. And Jackie Love looks great. Don't get me wrong. But you can't help but look at that from the V5 perspective and say, did you want him to succeed there or what? Because now 5K in the gold lead. And let's watch this, again, uncoordinated play once more.
Yeah, just, actually, they didn't even get a chance to make it into a 3v2. Mole was stunned up the whole time, so just able to burst him down pretty quickly. Then it's a 2v2, and, I mean, you are Braum and Aphelios against a Bard Wukong. Doesn't sound very strong in the 2v2.
I need to point out that Knight has a Mejai's first item. That is the confidence when you go up against V5 and just like the pure raw PM going.
I was going to say,
this is
it kind of hurts me to watch that, honestly, but
yeah.
Still, great to see, especially if he can snowball out of control. If there's one thing we do love here in the LPL, it is a bloodbath, so let's go Knight.
It is a positive time for V5, though. Are you ready? CLX, like we've seen in past weeks, seems like he's one of the most sane people on this team.
He's a very stable member, and it's always nice to see, especially him with Xiaohan. What happened, though? Okay,
Did Jackie Love flash that?
I'm not sure. It actually, I didn't see.
No, he flashed in the last fight we saw.
Yeah.
So he just walked it.
So just Y4 missing Tempered Fate.
Yep.
Was his last Bard game their win? I think it was.
Against LNG, they've only got one.
Yep.
And they found Jackie Love. ZLX on top of the 80 carry. Step from there. With the ulti, he heals back up. They want everything on the return. And they finally find him as V5. Getting another kill might be good things. Yu and Jack caught out as well. Double Cyclone there. And Knight has walked into this one. This is the 4 stacks of Magi's. He doesn't want to lose that just yet. As Knight for the re-engage. Meanwhile, Top Esports picking up the back of the fight. Slam from 369, and Shahan's going to die as well. Okay, back in the driver's seat for Top.
Everything was perfect for the side of Victory 5. We said they need to split up the members from Top Esports and find those picks with their burst. They did find those picks onto the bot lane. They had a numbers advantage, but still Carson coming in off the back of it, finding a bit of a cheeky pick, and then 369 having all the confidence to walk forward with Knight, and they get all the picks.
Knight now 10 stacks, by the way. We're going to track that as we go throughout because this seems like a pretty fun way.
And just
Start with Zoe.
let's look at 369. He's 4-1-0. You're facing pretty much a full 80 team because the way that Nico itemizes, she's not going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
369 will be unkillable. Maybe not yet, but very soon.
I mean, I feel like he's already pretty close to that point.
And you're facing also a champion that builds lethality.
Oh, 369's going to 1v1 CLX, though. Now, you said Jace doesn't like this Mal fight.
Nope.
I agree. 369 has flash, but no ulti. Otherwise, CLX is dead there.
Lethality against someone who stacks armor is just not a good time.
Plus, Malphite's W. I mean, when it got changed, that just does so much.
Yep, you are right.
Told you, Titanic Hydra built into the kit. I wait for the day where we put that item on top of it as well, but focus on this man here. Camera's been all over it for a good reason. And it is good to have Jacula back. In a serious note, the most outstanding 80 carry of 2018, one of the most outstanding 80 carries of 2019.
I think he was. I think he was the most crucial part of that roster. And
You talk about stability on IG when they were falling down with Nick.
they got 3-0'd by LNG.
Yeah.
They go into the regional run. They 3-2 JDG and 3-2 Top Esports. That was pretty much off the back of Jacula.
You could see, that's why I had that focus at the start here with all the clips we viewed. Jacula, the core member, especially 2019 JDG. It was good to see. He's got 2 items this game. He's hyper-accelerated. He's got a Renan's Hurricane on top of this IE. So he's not interested in the Essence Reaver here. He gets the damage now, and he's ready to hurt in these next fights.
And if you are Top Esports, you'll just continue to push out mid lane and then take whatever neutral objective comes up on the map. Victory 5 have no way of answering. Their really only way back into this game is finding some type of magical journey to a tempered fate, but we've kind of seen how that goes before. And I'm not sure we want to see that again.
Nothing magical about it, I don't think, as Rift Herald's going to get spawned here in the mid lane. And Top have grouped up here. Alias, once again, on the bad side of the coin. But Alias is another member who we've highlighted in the past simply because he does seem more standard than the other members trying to facilitate V5.
Like, Alias and CLX are the stability on this team. Shoan has been since he's been back as well.
That was his best ult.
Yes, it was. Still, doesn't mean too much if you don't get that now on the side of Top Esports. You have 2 dragons, you're 5k gold up, and
Hey,
Jacula.
the boy. I told you, this series is going to be us talking about Jacula and maybe about how he works with Top Esports. Especially how he works with Top Esports. Again, the conversation coming into this one was about how Top Esports make their run towards playoffs and get that magic 10 that secures the spot.
Let's point something out. It's going to be really hard to know how he's integrating into the team just based off the series, right? Everyone knows this is Victory 5. Victory 5 do not have a win this split. They could be the first team in LPL history to go winless.
They have one individual game win, and it's against LNG, who are 15.
So putting it in perspective, they are 1-26 in games. 1 win, 26 losses.
I love how you have that. 1-26.
That, like, hearing that hurts.
But I don't think, what's the history? One team has gone, because I remember the other day we were having a chat about this.
I think we've had a couple teams go with 1 series win.
Yeah.
I can't remember which ones they were, but we've had a lot of random teams in LPL, like Team King and I think Unlimited Potential, and like going back into 2015, 2016. So.
But like, yeah, you're right. 0-16 on the cards here for V5. Remember that for the fun of it, I went through and looked at their schedule. BLG, Vici, still teams that at the moment you'd say, well, they're still vying for a playoff position. BLG less so. Vici still on the outskirts right now. V5, all the 0-2s on my screen. Pretty insane, but we don't need to talk about them because we know where V5 are in a position. We still want to work out Top Esports, and you're right. We're not going to get the full bit of information of how Jacula works with this unit, but we're going to get a nice taste of how he operates with Cast, the 369 Knight, And what support, I guess, will look better with him too.
I love how we see Karsa and 369 not even upgrading to tier 2 boots yet. They just keep on finishing these items. We already see 369 just picking up the Thorn Mail.
So now no one does anything. I want to see that Jace 1v1 once again. Where is 369? He's down the bottom lane against the set. As Knight, he might be caught out here, but I'm not sure if he cares. Tempered Fate flushed away from him. Maybe he does. Double Summoner and Y4, his second best ult.
I mean, to be fair, no one on his team was close enough to where if he got picked off, it felt like they could really force anything. So good flash coming out from Knight. And
Lyric, do you think that V5 would beat anyone from like NA, EU, or Korea? A lot of people want to know. We're going to
first,
pause.
let's watch Alias's TP flank.
Knight has a Yomu's Ghost Blade. Can Alias find anything here?
Nope.
The bubble goes onto the Wukong, while meanwhile, Jackie Love and Yu Yu and Jia being caught on out here into the crescendo. He flushes away. Jackie survives for long enough, but then goes down. Pop Blossom comes through as well. Malphite ult re-engages the fight for top, and Caster's like, yeah, let's do it again. Knight loses his Magi stacks, but top somehow, with these two, are still going pretty strong, as Xiaohan says, no way, Jose. But Caster in the end with a double and top win out.
We find Victory 5 finding the kills they need, but we said it. 369 is unkillable. If he gets into this fight, doesn't matter if you're all hitting him. He's going to be the one to kill you. Karsa also able to survive that fight, and they come out ahead 4 kills to 3.
That's rock solid right there. 6-1 and 2 on the Malphite, right?
Yes,
and you can see that V5, every single play is all towards Jackie Love, right? And I know he's a damage dealer, but it's like the big old welcome back.
So I'm gonna make a bold statement that yes, Victory 5 would beat the bottom tier teams in the LEC and LCS.
Oh really?
I'm gonna say talent-wise they could do it. Off laning strength alone, think about the training they get here in the LPL against teams like this.
Yeah. Maybe they're not weak. Maybe V5 are strong in comparison to the world. Just weak within the realms of the LPL.
I mean, let's be honest. They're still weak in terms of the world stage as well. They're not going to go be a mid-tier team anywhere.
I mean, you wouldn't send them to MSI and say, you know, I think China's got it in the bag, right? As a 1 versus 1. Karsa found himself into a pickle with Alias, but he's got back up on the way on the start of top esports. It's because Dragon's coming up, and it's going to be the second Infernal for top esports, making them 1 away from the salt.
Yeah, and we've really gotten past the point where Victory 5's comp is strong. It's really about the kind of 1-2 items, which we are at 2 items right now, getting into that third, but as long as 369's around, you don't win. And we've also seen some very good mechanical plays coming out from Jackie Love, despite the fact that he was caught out. That last fight, that flash was actually really clean. If he would have had something like a Severum, he probably would have been able to survive.
I mean, that's what we talk about when we talk about Jackie Love. Remember the conversation yesterday when we were casting IG? We're talking about Puff versus Jackie Love from the recent iterations of the IG roster. And the conversation with Jackie Love is like making the flashy play, like going aggressive, right? Mechanically still sound, as we've seen from this first game.
But it does feel disingenuous to keep talking about Jackie Love when we have 369 being such a monster in this game.
Yeah, let's talk about the Rockman. He's level 13. I mean, this point, 369, this is his second Malphite game.
Yes, it is.
Becoming a bit of a Malphite aficionado.
We have some other people who also like that champion. Of course, typically picked into things like the Wukong.
Yeah.
Seen very well into. But
talk about 369 with his wide champion pool.
Which I guess it was picked into the Wukong this game, and then V5 just decided to put Wukong into the jungle. But still, didn't matter what he played it into, he still did very well.
He did amazingly. Knight Zoe, which we know him for, by the way, is now down on Magi stacks. Only 2, but has the Luden's Echo actually picked up this time around.
Yep, has been sitting on that for a while. Has also had the Seeker's Arm Guard for ever since laning phase. Just picking that up for that extra bit of protection against Jace, not allowing him to snowball too hard and win out too heavily in the trades.
Just defending mid right now, 24 minutes in, waiting for that next dragon to come up. If we're looking at CS difference, well, bottom lane about 30 in favor of the AD carry here on top. About 20 in that top side as well. Apart from mid, pretty even there. And we just slowed right down, and you're talking about speed of these compositions.
I was going to say we've really neglected to talk about what should be happening because top esports have gotten so far ahead. It shouldn't really matter, but it seems like they are going to take a step back. Ooh, actually, when I say that, they might go for Alias.
I think he thought he was not going to back there. Knocked on up here. 369 ults in for the fun of it, and Knight takes himself another kill.
I was just going to say that Top don't need to try to set up any aggressive picks. They don't need to push into the enemy jungle, try and get their side and mid lane pushing and looking for people in transit. They can just wait for the next dragon, have Infernal Soul, and win out in straight 5v5 team fights.
Jackie Love going to dodge that one. Yu Yuan just steps in front at the right time. Tangle Barb's coming through. There is a way for them to catch him out, but the Tempered Fate doesn't hit. His third worst ult that time around was Top Esports channeling up this choke. They've got 369 hitting a turret.
And when you are Victory 5 right now, it really is just about punishing an overstep coming out from people like Jackie Love and Rookie.
Has to flash away. He's going to be sniped down. Jackie Love gets the stun here with the help of the Winter's Bite in the end. Troll Bubble lands again. The ultimate comes through, and he snipes him, but a bit too far forward as he QSS rather heal at that point to get away. Top Esports still surviving, all 5 members. Yes, Castle lives on as well. Mole gets poked out. I don't know if they're going to chase this one.
And we talked about how Victory 5 only really come out ahead if Top Esports overstepped. It did look like they were doing that, but still Victory 5 don't have the damage at this point to take anyone down. And Top do get away with playing pretty greedy, still pick up a kill in the end, and now we are 1 minute and about 30 seconds away from that Drake. And once you pick that up as Top, you can pretty much just head straight over to the Baron, say, okay, V5, come into us, and, I mean, you're going to win.
I will say, it's good to see Top Esports playing like this against V5. Like, even though with the Magi's first pickup, you know, a bit disrespectful, it is good to see that they are on a similar page. It is important to see communication against the worst team.
Let's put this in perspective, because this is something we actually haven't touched on yet. For people who didn't see, it wasn't on an English broadcast day. Top Esports did get 2-0'd by BLG pretty recently.
Yes.
So
which is like my point, right? They're another bottom tier team at the moment.
Yeah. So we definitely need to see them stepping up here.
They're just taking Baron, by the way. This is gone.
Yeah.
Xiaohan getting zoned away by a Malphite, doing what he does best. Goodbye, Baron. Y4, almost.
Realistically, they could have looked for this at any moment in the past 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It did seem like they wanted to take it slower, though, which is why I assumed they were just waiting for that Infernal Soul up to not bring it down to what could be a 50-50 if Xiaohan got into the pit and just able to kill out all of Victory 5. But I was going to say, Victory 5 actually want to start a fight. They don't really have any other options, honestly. It's slowly bleed out or try and force some kind of coin flip.
Malphite's coming down as well. Here comes 369. Highlight on Kasa and Yu Yuan this time around. And yeah, I think Yu Yuan has been not filling out nicely with Jackie Love.
We haven't talked about that yet, and maybe we won't get to talk about it still.
We'll see. Walking forward yet again. The Troll Bubble doesn't land. Take the magical journey. The flash over from Mole. Forces one from Jackie Love too. Mole has to heal away for the movement speed, but now he's got no summoners. As Alias get hit by a rock. Meanwhile, Knight is only going to hit the clone, but Mole tags him in the end to go golden to delay time, while 369 is not dying. Meanwhile, we don't care about that fight. The Malphite's not doing anything. He still has the ulti, use it on the Mole, but good timing of the stopwatch there from the V5 mid laner, who dies to Knight anyway.
And that's about it.
No, it's not.
No.
Ali is going to die as well. Trollbob not going to land, but the Ignite coming through. Everyone jumps on in. Knight with yet another kill. His Magi's is now absolutely primed and ready. Have an Infernal Soul to boot.
And let's remember that V5 are the ones who attempted that engage. I stress the word attempted, as we saw Mole get in there with Pop Blossom, wasn't able to lock anyone down. And then the resulting, even calling it a fight is kind of hard, because we just saw both teams posturing far away from each other. Knight did end up blowing up someone with his Zoe. I think it actually was Y4 to start that off with.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So a bunch of people went down on the side of Victory 5. Top Esports come out ahead in the end. They have Infernal Soul. They do tons of damage. Now Knight Zoe does have 20 stacks on the Magi's.
Yes. An Infernal Soul with a Zoe and a Magi's and 2 items and a orb.
Yeah.
Nice.
But going back to our point from before, that's important.
What do you think?
Yu Yanja has actually been subbed out recently for Chocho, and what I would expect it to be is when you have someone like Photic, who is a rookie, getting a more experienced member like Chocho to kind of lead him and have a more dominant voice in the lane and in the team as a whole is more important. But exactly, when you bring in Jackie Love, that's not as important. We have seen that Yu Yanja is the better mechanical support, does have a bit better decision-making when it comes to that role.
Good dodge. Meanwhile, we look mid, though, because V5, I don't think they want to be here. Into the Infernum. The knockup's going to come through. Jackie Love gets pulled on in, ulted back. He lives long enough to do his damage, though, while Knight cleans up the rest. That's an ace at 29 minutes. Set time isn't too long.
That was as good as you were going to get on the side of Victory 5. But Top Esports' Jackie Love debut ends up in a very, very, very dominant stomp.
The most dominant stomp I've casted here in this split. There's been a few.
I was going to say, I don't know if that's true.
No, for me at least, seeing it here in front of my eyes, because this was easy. V5 didn't stand a chance at, I don't know, at any point in this game. They're going to end it here. And you're right, it is the Jackie Love debut. And easily done to bring us a Game 1 win for top.
And not much to say. We saw V5
Nope.
overstep
Go
a
to
lot.
Game 2.
Yeah.